Question here. When you say hedge, you are buying some puts.
Michael, one question I have. I noticed you mentioned averaging down. I've done that once or twice. And my question is, if when do you determine that it's good to average down versus maybe chasing good money after bad? And is it because you feel that it's still going to go down? That's your bias? What decision making do you use to determine averaging down versus just either getting out or sitting where you are?
Well, for like Google, for instance, we were trading we were trading Google to the downside. And what I was thinking is that Google would break the 20 and trade down to here as it sort of topped, came down, reversal candle. Everything seemed to be kind of indicating that it was heading lower and lower. It was this trade setup did not work. So when this went against me, I could have averaged down on this one, but I'm not going to average down on a trade where the setup breaks. So every trade that I take, when I take it, so let's just go back for a second to the day that I took the Google trade, which was on May 30th, right here. So you can see that wicks, topping pattern, reversal candle here, confirmation candle here because it broke below. So you definitely have a reversal happening here. In fact, I took it here as it continued lower. Everything started turning lower. And so I took a small position on Google on this day. But when I look at this chart as it comes down, it's profit, and it was profitable for a little bit. Um, my um, my trading plan had an exit. So some people like to use the monetary exit of 70-40. We've talked about that a million times here. If your trade gets down by 70%, close the trade. If you've added to the trade in any way, and the total that you've added gets down by 40%, then you would exit the trade. That gives you the same loss. In other words, if you traded $200 and lost 70%, or if you traded 300 and whatever it is, 350, I think. 350 times 40% is 170, right? That's not quite right. So what would this be like? 320, I could do it. 140 divided by 0.4. 350. Yeah, that's right. 350 times 40% is about the same 140. So if that's your pilot position, you get out at 70%. If you've added another 150, you're going to now get out if the whole trade goes down by 40%. And so you're never going to lose more than 140 bucks. That's kind of like a money management system that we have in place that we teach people. But the other thing that we teach people is when not only to have a monetary exit, but you have to have a cut loss. Where do I cut my losses? At what point is the setup no longer valid? So Rick, if I decided up front that, you know what, I like this trade, and I may consider adding to the trade at some point, but if it breaks the daily 200 with conviction, I got to get out of the trade. And maybe I say, you know what, I'll allow it to pierce up from that. If it fails, I'll add to the trade.
Okay.
But if it breaks, I'm I'll get out of the trade. So in this instance, when do you average down? I probably would have averaged down if after breaking the 200, it came down to retest and failed. And then I would have added to the trade potentially there.
Okay.
If I got the trade here, it would have been a little bit of an averaging down scenario. But because it broke this level, I exited the trade,
Gotcha.
which is the smart move. So yeah, you don't want to say, well, you stayed in the trade, and now it's up here. Well, I can get that trade now for 20 cents, buy a whole bunch of them and average down. But why would you stay in the trade just because you could bring down the cost? That's not enough. The setup to go to short this thing still has to be valid. And that setup, when you enter, say, here, because of this, if you break this, you should be getting out of the trade.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.